This is one of the most underrated apps for beginner learners of Korean. You don't want to miss this. Hi there, welcome to Life with Andy, where we discuss life and the lessons learned along the way. Part of this journey has been my progress in learning Korean as a second language. While I'm still a beginner, I found that I've been able to experiment with a bunch of different resources that have made a big difference in my learning progress. I hope in sharing my experiences that it can help you in your language learning journey, whether it's learning Korean or learning another language, to help you avoid some of the hurdles that I've faced as a language learner. One of the main hurdles I've faced as a language learner has been vocabulary acquisition. While I get a lot of input and immersion, I find it's really difficult for vocabulary words to stick in my memory. In fact, there's a bunch of research that shows it takes between 6 and I believe 16 exposures to a word before it cements in your permanent memory. And to get around this, many people use tools such as a spaced repetition system like Anki or Quizlet to learn vocabulary. So this is one of the methods I've used to start learning vocabulary, and while they've been good, there's actually another free app that I've found that has been very beneficial for me as a beginner language learner that has completely changed the game for how I'm starting to learn vocabulary. I haven't learned everything in this method, but I found for the words I have learned, these words are sticking a lot quicker. So instead of needing those 16 exposures, some of them even less than the 6. The app, which is free, that I recommend to you if you are a beginner learner of Korean, Japanese, or Chinese, is an app called Papago. So this app, I originally was suggested it by one of my Korean exchange partners for the translation function because they said it's much more accurate translating using this app compared to Google Translate. And I found in my experience using it, it appears to be much more accurate. But in delving into this app, I found it had a few really handy features for learning vocabulary. One of these features is the word card section. And in this word card section, there's things to do with colors, animals, vehicles. It's just a great way of having a picture with the word along with audio representation of how to pronounce the words. That way you get to practice your reading, you have a connection between the word and the image, and you can also develop your listening skills. In addition to this section, there's also another section that focuses on phrases. Now, for vocabulary acquisition, from some of the research I've done into vocabulary acquisition, they recommend learning vocabulary in forms of chunks, so in terms of a whole sentence, as opposed to a certain word, as our brains tend to hook onto those sentences a lot more than individual words. Moreover, the good thing about learning in sentences is it helps you to implicitly understand some of the grammar rules of a language. So some of these sentences that you can learn in this app focus on greetings, on emergencies, on talking about family. They're great resources, and I actually only found out that it had this section while I was preparing this video. I only knew about the word cards at the time, and I was like, this is great. But even finding those greeting and phrases, that's going to be really useful for my study as a beginner learner. Now, if you are at an intermediate level, this might be a bit simplistic for you, I understand, but for those of us who are struggling to climb that beginner wall, I think this app is an awesome addition to your study program. Do I think it's a substitute for everything? No, but I think it's a great complement if you are, say, doing the Talk to Me in Korean grammar courses or working through a textbook. I think it's a great way of reinforcing and developing different knowledge in your target language. So once again, the app is called Papago. I highly recommend that you check it out. If you are learning a language and you have an app or a resource that has really helped you with vocabulary acquisition, I'd love to hear it, as this is something I want to get better at. I found that this has been working for me so far, but I know I'm a beginner language learner. So please share your perspectives, and for those of you who are learning a language or are coming to this for advice, or you're struggling against that wall, don't worry, if we keep chipping away at it, we will achieve our language goals. It just takes time, we've got to be patient, but we can do it. Thank you so much for watching Life with Andy. I'll see you next time. Peace!